Hey y'all, welcome to the delayed version of Markland Mondays. Tonight's conversation is going to be the X Files. All right, what we're going to be talking about are not bashing our exes, not saying about how evil our ex is and oh my god, I can't believe they did that to me, and no, we're not going to do that. All right, because here's the thing: the hurt and pain that comes from a failed relationship, I believe, is what causes us to lash out. But at the end of the day, what we have to realize is that, guess what? We chose that person, okay? We chose who we were with, and I hate to say it, y'all, and you may not want to hear this, but our exes are a reflection on us, okay? A reflection of us. What that means is our exes are a snapshot of who we were at that moment in time. So the thing is, we have got to learn to grow from the experience, because you live, you love, you learn, you grow, you mature. And our exes are symbolic of that. It shows the persons that we were back then, and if we use those experiences, they allow us to grow to be the people that we want to be, the people that we can be, the full potential of who we are. All right, I hear people dogging out their exes all the time, talking about they ain't shit. He's this, he's a that, she's a this, she's a that. What up, Dana? Thank you for joining the conversation. Exes, I guess when you saw exes, you had to jump in, right? Our exes, as I said, are a reflection of us, a snapshot of who we are and where we were at that moment in time. All right, so we've had a couple conversations even prior to this live broadcast, and a lot of people chimed in and said about what they thought about their, the situations and the circumstances of when they were with their exes. For instance, Toy, she said never settle. That's something she learned from her experience, her prior relationship, and that's something that her ex taught her. Yancey, she said ask for what you want. Y'all, I'm a firm believer in the 6 and the 9. All right. Your partner can see a 6 and you may see a 9. That doesn't necessarily mean that y'all are seeing something different. What up, Pam? Cena, as she's got it right there. All right. So just because you may see something different, then that means that, guess what? They're seeing something different. So if there's something that you want, guess what? Ask for it. Come out and say, hey, I want A, B, and C. And your partner may be like, hey, I want D, E, F. If y'all aren't on the same page, then you have to communicate. And I'll be honest with y'all, that's something I learned from my last relationship, is to communicate better, is to be strong and assertive in what you want, but also at the same time to listen to what she was telling me. Because a lot of times, y'all, and it's one thing to be able to talk to somebody. It's one thing to be able to cuss them the hell out and get it off your chest and let them know how you feel. But guess what? That's not effective communication. It's not just about communicating. It's about effective communicating. You can talk till the cows come home. But if y'all aren't effectively communicating, you're not winning. And that's something that I learned from my ex, is to communicate effectively with her, and then also listen to what she had to say in order for us to get along. All right. What else did a lot of we had a lot of comments on this one. I know that the exes conversation is going to bring a lot of people in. So a lot of people were, like I said, chiming in. Talise, she said to forgive and forget. That's something that her ex taught her. I agree with that. A lot of times we can beat a dead horse, okay? Hear the other person out. When they say what they got to say, you know what? We all mess up. We all make mistakes. So you learn to forgive and to forget. Monique, she said follow the signs. We had a conversation a while back about red flags and toxic traits. And I guess for her, that's something that really resonated, because she saw things ahead of time, but she, how it is when you're in love, when you're in lust, when you're in all of the other L's, you see things that don't necessarily ring, you don't pay attention to those signs. And that's something that she said. She's going to follow the signs. And also Sunny, she said she's going to trust what she sees the first time. That's something that she learned from her ex. I had to stop and think about that one, because I'll be honest with you, once again, that's something I went through. There were things that I saw, there were things that, happened, but, I just said, you know what? It's okay. It's going to be all right. It's just me. I'm not this or whatever. I'm not that. And I overlooked a lot of things. Like I said, this isn't a knock on her. Our exes, as I said, they're opportunities for us to grow. Okay, our exes allow us. If you just imagine a brick wall, that X is a foundation. Each brick that they taught us to lay is going to allow us to build a solid foundation for our next relationship. And that's what it's about. We have to grow in order to be better, I believe, in order to have solid foundations. However, if you don't use those learning lessons from your exes to grow, to mature, every darn relationship that you have is just going to crumble, okay? Because you're not learning from those past experiences. You ever hear people say you got to type, or you always keep ending up with the same person? My therapist has a little saying, she's like, no matter where you go, there you are. And every time she says that, it resonates with me, because she's right. You can bring a different person into your life. And if you want to take it on that level, you can bring a different person into your bed. But at the end of the day, you are who you are. And if you don't learn from your past experiences, you're going to repeat that same hurt, that same pain. And then even worse, you're going to contaminate and infect the person that you're with. So if you don't fix those issues, if you don't fix the things within you, all the exes in the world, you're just going to have another ex, and it's the same person. And every time you're going to go deeper and deeper into a well of hurt, and you're just going to hurt the people that you get into a relationship with. What up, Juan? What up, Shell? Hey, y'all, please make sure you hit those reaction buttons. Let me know how you feel in this conversation. Also, I want y'all to comment. I want y'all to ask those questions, because, this is a conversation that is important. Like I said, I do not want this conversation to be about bashing your ex, because Lord knows it's easy to do. However, if you're bashing your ex, guess what? You're bashing yourself, because unless they put a gun to your damn head, you chose to be with that person. So one thing I pride myself on not doing is bashing my ex, because at the end of the day, I was the one that dropped down on my ashy knees and proposed. She didn't say, hey, Chris, 44 mag to your head, propose. No, I did that. Okay. So now, because things didn't work, I take ownership of those issues. And guess what? I'm in a much better relationship now because of that. Okay. And also, now this one's going to be a little bit touchy. You know what I'm saying? An ex doesn't necessarily come from a breakup or a divorce. Okay. Unfortunately, you know how the vows go in sickness and in health. So sickness, health, or lack thereof can result in death. And unfortunately, you may, lose your ex based on something sad like that. And that in and of itself can carry so many individual pieces of trauma. You know what I'm saying? And also because of that, there's so much that you have to deal with. You have guilt from trying to move on to a new relationship, because, you may feel, internalize the fact that, kind of like a betrayal, if you will, and also you may not even be able to move on, because guess what? There is no time limit on the grieving process. It's not like Amazon where it's like, you're going to check the 2-day box, and after a while, hey, I'm done, let's move on. No. That grieving process, that healing process is something that you have got to go through. You know what I'm saying? And, okay, so Shell's saying she wouldn't consider that an ex. I agree. What I'm trying to say is, for me, I guess I do consider it an ex. Let me say it that way, because I'm looking at all of your past relationships, regardless of how you got there. I think that everyone that we encounter, everyone that we take into our heart, everyone that we take into our spirit, once you move on, whether you want to or not, we have to learn from those experiences. And every experience, everyone we encounter, whether it's a professional relationship, whether it's a personal relationship, and even though I'm speaking more on personal relationships, we have to learn from them. So like I said, and also learning how to grieve, it's a process. Loving is a process. Some are more painful than others, but it's a process, and we have got to learn to move on. What up, Monique? Thanks for joining the conversation. Michelle, yeah, it's definitely true. As far as just, learning from those relationships that we've had in the past. All right. Let's see what else. A couple other comments that people had in the chat previously. Tiffany, she said, learn to love yourself. Man, y'all, I can so relate to that. I want to show y'all something a little bit personal. Like after my last relationship, and I'm still going to therapy, because I promised myself a couple things. One, I would never hurt another woman or put another woman through the BS that I put my ex through. But also, like Tiffany said, I wanted to learn to love myself. So just real personal, this is something, and it looks ragged as hell because I carry it around in my wallet, okay? And it's just a list of things, and I'll just give you a couple off of there. I'm alive, I'm healthy. I'm a father of my children. I have a job, I have a career. And it's a lot more things on that list. And I had to carry that around because guess what, man? I was carrying around a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of everything, even prior to being married to her. And I didn't heal myself, and I damn sure didn't learn to love myself. And quiet as it's kept, I'm still learning to love myself every day. Luckily, I'm with someone who is teaching me, love and whatever. What up, Danielle? Thanks for joining the conversation. And it's one of those things that I'm learning from. Just learning myself, and I'm growing each and every day when it comes to love. So I learned a lot from my ex, and I damn sure learned to love myself, and just in order to grow, because if not, man, you're gonna repeat the same thing. You're going to repeat the same mistakes if you don't learn to grow, if you don't learn to take those things that happened in your past in order to make you a better person. Like the conversation tonight is the X files. What we're talking about is not beating up our exes and bashing them, but what did our exes teach us in order to learn to be better now? What experiences did we go through with our exes? What the whole interaction with our exes in order to grow to be better, and how have those experiences a lot translated into our current relationships? You can either bring the hurt, the pain, the trauma into your new relationships, or you can, just like Tiffany said, learn to love yourself, get counseling, conversations with friends, whatever the case may be, in order to take on what they gave you in order to make it better for your next relationship. So that's the conversation that we're having tonight. All right. Another thing that Yancey said, ask questions, learn to listen to the verbal and non-verbal answers that they give you. Body language is a bitch, y'all. I mean, you may say yes, but I'm saying yes right now. Hey, yes. But guess what? I'm shaking my head. Little things like that, you learn to communicate. And also, like we were saying, you see a 6, your partner sees a 9. Are y'all communicating effectively? If you ask the questions, are you asking a clear, clean, precise question so that way your ex can be able to, so that way the person that you're with can give you an answer. Something else. This is a big one. You learn to set boundaries. A lot of us, I think, in order to keep relationships going and to keep it fresh, whatever the case may be, we don't know how to set boundaries. We allow a lot of things in, and what that ends up leading to is resentment. And if you aren't able to set the boundaries, if you aren't able to articulate, hey, I don't like when you do that, or I do like when you do this, then guess what? You're setting yourself up for pain, okay? All right, Monique, I like that. Listen. I'm going to add a little bit to that. Listen effectively. Sometimes we listen just for the break in the conversation so we can talk. as opposed to listening to what that person's saying so we can empathize with what they're trying to get across to that. But you're exactly right. Listen to what that person's saying. That's something I learned as well. The one main takeaway that I will take from my ex is communication. Like Monique said, listening effectively, but also communicating effectively as well. Just like Yancey said, you listen, like Monique saying, listen not just to what they're saying, but their body language. You can tell when somebody's lying. Some people gotta tell. Y'all know how it is. That they don't have that poker face. All right. Michelle, good comment. She said, hey, I learned that time is relative. Sometimes we stick around in unhealthy relationships so that we feel like we haven't wasted our time. Man, check this out. You can earn money. You can make millions of dollars. You can buy the perfect body. Because in fact, you can buy anything on this world. But the one thing you cannot get is time. Okay, we have a finite amount of time on this planet, and you never know. Tomorrow's not promised. So a lot of times we stay in relationships. Y'all, I've heard this so many times. I got a couple friends. It's like, we've been married for 20 years and they can't stand each other. We just been together. We fell in love and they can't stand each other. But yet and still, they still married. No, man. No. Sometimes, quiet as it's kept, there's a season for everything. Summer's over. You know what I'm saying? We're going into a new season. It's fall. So this same thing, seasons in our lives. And that's one thing my ex taught me as well, is that, hey, just because we've been together doesn't mean I'm going to stay together. And and there are also some old school ways, schools of thought in that y'all work it out. Y'all fight through it. Marriages are hard work. Yeah, that sounds good. However, there's some things just aren't necessarily meant to be. Some things are just not meant to be. And if you know that you're not happy, if you know that if you can honestly say that you've given it your all, then guess what? It may be time for that person to be an ex, and then you can also learn the lessons from that person being an ex, so that way when you do get to your new relationship. For me, y'all, this is not something I'm necessarily proud of, but I've been married twice. However, I love love. And what that means is I know that I love love. I love wearing the wedding band. I love all that stuff. I love knowing that there's a special person at home for me. But being married just for the sake of being married, knowing damn well that you're unhappy, knowing damn well that you'd rather sit your ass out there in the parking spot instead of going inside the house because you just don't want to go inside and see that person, or you're just not happy. Back when I used to drive trucks, I used to be happy to be on the road because I didn't want to go home. That's not what you want. So there are times where you have to make the hard decision to make that person an ex, and then learn from that ex in the relationship. Okay, of course you love love. Us Aries love, Danielle. That's what we do. All right. Oh, that's a good one, Michelle. Michelle said her ex inadvertently taught her worth. One thing I try to impart to everyone that comes in and around me, I want to empower you by knowing that you are worthy. I don't care. You could be the most unpretty person on the planet. All right. You can be, attractively challenged. However, that doesn't make you unworthy. Okay. We have so much going against us in our society where people, it's all about how you look physically, and you know what I'm saying? If you don't live up to somebody's image of whatever, then you're not worthy. Every last one of y'all, all of us are worthy. In a couple of my last relationships, not my last, let me not say that, but I've been in a few relationships where I just never felt worthy. I never felt, just like what Michelle is saying, you just don't feel worthy of not even just being with that person, but just sometimes being alive. And it's a tough situation to be in, and I'm glad that you know your worth, Michelle, because Lord knows you are worthy, man. I'm telling you, we all are. Let's see. Let's go back through these comments to see what we got going on. once again, the conversation, we're talking about the X-Files, okay? And what that means is not just beating up our exes, not just bashing them, not just, saying that our exes ain't shit, blah. No, that's too easy. That's way too easy, because hurt and pain and also the embarrassment of being in a relationship that failed, and that's something I went through. It's like me telling people that I've been married twice. It's been tough, because people look at me like, what the hell's wrong with you? And I did question myself, what is wrong with me? Why can't I stay married? Am I a failure? All of those things, you go through that pain, you go through that, but you know what? At the end of the day, you have to learn to love yourself. And like Michelle said, you have to know your worth, okay? Monique said, I'm one of those people who love. Man, love, y'all. Let me see them hearts out there. Do y'all love? Hit that reaction button. Let me know. Do y'all love? Love is a beautiful thing, and making love is even beautifuler. I'm just saying, love. Say your ex ain't shit, Danielle. Okay, well, that's gonna be another topic for another day. Oh my goodness. Oh man, something's telling me I need to wrap this up, because I think the claws are about to come up. Do y'all love? Let me see them. I love it, y'all. I'm gonna wrap this one up real quick, but first of all, I want to thank y'all for this conversation. I think that this was probably more for me than it is for y'all, because when you went through bad relationships, they will break you down. They will have you thinking, like you said, you're not worthy, have you thinking that you ain't shit, have you thinking that, so many negative things. But everything that we have in life, every freaking encounter that you have, and when you bring somebody into your heart, they can either just rip that mug apart, or they can make you a stronger, better person. All I gotta say is this, y'all. Make sure that our exes are our past, okay? Like I said, they are a reflection of who you were then. Make sure you take the time to grow. Take the time to fix those wounds. Make sure you can't put, once this paper's torn, I can tape it, but guess what? It's never going to be the same. However, I can still write on it. That doesn't mean that it's not worthy, okay? You can still use it. It just may not be the same, but guess what? When you cut yourself and it heals, that callus means it's stronger than it was before. So all I'm saying is, use those past experiences. Be the best person that you can be as you move forward into your current and future relationships. And love, y'all. Love, okay? Anyway, like I said, I'm gonna wrap this one up. I appreciate y'all coming to joining me tonight. Not sure what we're gonna talk about next week. I think we're gonna have a little fun next week. Any fishermen out there? Y'all ever been fishing? You'll see what I'm talking about in a couple days, y'all. But anyway, hey, I want to once again thank y'all for joining me, and I will see y'all next week. Also, don't forget, you see this big Determined Books behind me? That means I published 2 books. Support your boy. If you haven't gotten them, hey, go to my website, christophermarkland.com, or go on Amazon and search for Desperately Seeking Exclusivity. That's my first book. And Desperately Seeking Pleasure. That's my second book. In fact, you see that pretty lady right there, Danielle Williams. She is the beautiful cover model for that book. I tell you, I cannot... just the love that you showed me with that. So anyway, once you see that book, you'll see her on it. And please grab a copy of both. And